Hello everyone, thanks for joining me for today's Lunch and Learn. I'm Keith Armour. I'm from the Adult Learning and Literacy Department. Well, it's August and school is about to start. And I know teachers are already in those classrooms getting them ready for a new start of a new school year. Now, what I want to make sure all the educators know about today in today's Lunch and Learn, we're going to talk about all of our teacher resources, educator cards, teacher collections, and all of our wonderful databases that will help the learning in your classroom this year. So let's go ahead and take a look. Well, all right, we've arrived at our website. Don't forget, we have a new website address. It is simply chpl.org, which of course stands for Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library. We are going to go right over here under Services. We click on Services, and then we're going to skip over here for right underneath for adults. We're going to go right here to Educators. Now, I know as a former teacher myself that most of you educators have already been in those classrooms, have already started setting up things, and this is a good time just to kind of review some of the things, some of the resources that we have right here for you at 41 of our locations and also online resources as well. One of the things that really is helpful for a teacher, a tutor, a homeschooler is to apply for an educator card. So we're going to click here, which takes us to our general page on getting a library card. Now, of course, if you are a Ohio resident, you can get a library card. If you are a property owner of Hamilton County, you can get a library card. Even if you are in Boone, Campbell, Kenton County, and you have a library card with those Kentucky systems, you can get a library card with us, Cincinnati Hamilton County Public Library. Now, there's several different card types, but we're going to focus on this one right here, which is the educator card. We're going to click right here and apply for a library card. And we're going to scroll all the way down until it says educator. Now, this is for educators, and there's more details about an educator card. So I'm going to click right here, but let's look at this one right here. You can check out up to 200 items. Now, you can't check out DVDs and with an educator card or video cassettes. Do we still have video cassettes? I bet we do. But for more details about an educator card, we click here. And this is all the information on how to get an educator card. You do need to have some type of information to help us make sure that you are an educator. And look at all the different ways that you can do it. You can have a letter signed by the school. You could bring in your employer ID badge. You could bring in a paycheck stub. So we just identify that you are a educator. Now, if you're a homeschooler, you just need to provide that homeschool certification letter from the superintendent. You just have to bring it in just to show us. You don't actually have to bring a copy in. And then, of course, the school website can be used as a verification as well. And then you just have to verify some other information here. And, of course, you can apply online, but any one of our 41 locations, we would be more than happy to help you. And we do have an English and we also have a Spanish version of our application that you can download. All right. Now, I just want to point out this right here. Videos and DVDs cannot be checked out on your library card, on your educator card. So keep that in mind. You can check that out on your own personal card and use it in the classroom, but you cannot use that for your educator card. So that's the first thing I want to point out. And I'm going to click back here on getting, I'm going to click back one more. And that is a really good first step to get an educator card. Now, if you already had an educator card and you just need to renew it, you can come to one of our 41 locations or give us a call at 513-369-6900. Now, the things that open up our teacher collections right here our teacher collections, and here is how the teacher collections work. There's a nice video on book delivery that can be coming directly to your school. And this is a school year delivery request, a collection pickup request. So you can actually have some delivered directly to your school. If we click here, what's going to happen is there is a long list that we already have school delivery. So you might want to ask if you're a new teacher or if you want to start, you might want to check this list first. It is by alphabetical order here. You can check to see if we already have our wonderful outreach services, which there's their phone number there, that already are part of the delivery. And the requirements is that you have to have at least a minimum of 5 teachers for delivery at your particular school. So always check this first just to make sure that it might be even more convenient to actually have the books delivered to your school. And you could get a bunch of other teachers along with you. And then there you go. You can have those books delivered right at your school. Now, the other part is collection pickup requests. That means you're going to request a selection of books. You're going to put in your library card number. Of course, that's my library card number for our Adult Learning Center. But you would make a request that way. And then you would have to put in your educator card. You could then have it picked up. You could then pick it up at your closest branch that you want to pick those up. So maybe you live over by the Delhi Library, but you teach over in Avondale. Well, you could have those books, that collection created over in Avondale. Now, the thing that I love about outreach and these teacher collections, you can get a lot of nonfiction books. You can get some multiple copies of classroom sets. You can get specific titles or even themes. And then here are the directions on pickup and delivery. And any daycare or school in Hamilton County, Ohio, is eligible to apply for a delivered teacher collection service. And here is the school year delivery request. And once again, here's the online form for collection pickup requests too. So definitely check that out. That makes it so very, very convenient. And it is one of those really special, unique features and privileges with having an educator card. You can really get a whole bunch of stuff that is really going to enhance the learning in your classroom. I'm going to go back to the educator homepage right here. And there's another section where it is about student cards. This whole is about using our downloadables resources with the student card. And I would highly recommend that you contact the great manager at Outreach to learn a little bit more about this. It really provides a lot more in-depth access to all of our online resources. Back to the educator homepage. And then don't forget, you've got classroom and library visits. If you click right here, you could organize a class visit. You could organize a visit where you're going to come down to the main library. Maybe you want to take advantage of our makerspace down at our main library. Here is all the information about that. Our librarians love to provide tours and special programs, and it's a really great way to have a field trip that's not going to cost a lot of money, and sometimes it might be even a walkable field trip in your community. So don't forget about that classroom or library visits. I'm going to go back to the main page for educators, and then I'm going to very briefly go over several of these online resources. The very first one I'm going to go to is Brainfuse Help Now. Now, this is helpful for you as an educator in a lot of different ways. Number one, it does provide live tutoring 7 days a week from 2 until 11 at night. And you might want to let your parents, your caregivers know that, and your students know that they will have access to this from 2 until 11 at night. And it really does help, especially when the kids bring in, when parents are like, oh, I don't know how to do algebra. Well, you can get a live tutor from 2 to 11, 7 days a week. Now, if they want to have a paper and they've written a paper and they want to submit it, have someone take a look at it, the writing lab is a great place to do that. And then within 24 hours, they get the writing sample back with a rubric that helps them make their writing a little bit stronger. And then they also get some notes put on the side as well. It doesn't write a paper for them, but it will help improve their writing. Now for you teachers, Skill Surfer is probably very, very helpful for you, especially if you have a smart board or a projector of some sort. Say you're teaching third grade and you're teaching third grade, let's go third grade math. And there's a whole bunch of practice tests here. And I want to point out, maybe you have a student that comes in the middle of the year and you're not really sure where they're landing, how far along they are, and what skills they already have and what skills they need to learn. You could give them one of these practice tests online and you could find out a little bit more about their background in math. Now, if I was going to be teaching operations with fractions, I could watch this video on understanding fractions. If I click right here, it's a short video on understanding fractions. Then I could look at the short lesson about read, write, and identify fractions. And once again, if I had a smart board or a projector, I could put that up. I could then have the students practice this one and then practice all of these right here. And there's a lesson already there for you that's prepared, and even the answers down here as well. If I scroll back up, I can then just go on to the next lesson, which is represent fractions on a number line. And then I can continue to going all the way down here to compare and order fractions. And once again, colorful illustrations, it can be projected, and then they can even practice those as well. Okay? Now, the Skill Surfer is really great because it covers the lower elementary school, kindergarten to second, with reading, math, and science. Upper elementary, and that's from grades 3 to grades 5, and it adds science and social studies here, as well as writing. And then middle school, it goes from 6th to 8th grade, and then it covers some social studies subjects as well. And then high school is here. And each one, if I wanted to go to Algebra 1 right here in high school, and I was a parent that needs a little bit of an explanation on working with exponent, our factoring expressions right here, I definitely could review that and then maybe learn a little bit more. Now, if I click right here on ratios, I could do this lesson. Now, during the times between 2 and 11, if am I having a problem with ratios and rates, I could click right here and get live help, and that's where the tutor comes in. And the tutor automatically knows that you're having some problems with ratios and rates. I'm going to go back to Skill Surfer again under high school. You see all of the AP exam prep right here. And then you have some college information as well here too. There's some adult learner and then even a parent corner down here. Now I'm going to go back really quickly and just point out one other feature on here. It's a featured service, and the FAFSA is coming up. The new one is coming out in October. And here you can have a live expert that will help you, but their live expert is there just Monday through Thursday from 2 to 11. So I'm going to go back to the Educator page. There we go, back to the Educator page. There's Bookflix. Now Bookflix is for kindergarten through about 3rd grade. Great
Click on a category
connection
or
with
click on the feature to begin.
fiction and nonfiction. But for you teachers, I want to point out this little feature right up here. If I click here, I'm going to go to Resources and Tools. And here are all the resources and tools. You can divide them up by themes. You can do by categories. You could even do running time, and then story, all story Lexile scores, and then grade levels as well. So it goes really from pre-K to 3. Now, if I was going to pick, let me pick this one. It's been hot, so I'm going to pick this lesson right here. I'm going to click right here, the lesson plan for Antarctica Antics, and then of course nonfiction resource. So here's the whole lesson plan. You've got the fiction resource, the nonfiction, you've got the learning objectives, you've got before video viewing, and that's really important to use those, and then after video viewing activities, and then the paired text right there, and then you could even select your standards. Right here, the Ohio standards for science and early childhood and early learning, and Ohio Learning Science, and even English and Language Arts for 2010 are on here. And I can look at those. Now, if you're not familiar with Bookflix, we're going to click on here. You'll see the video that comes up. And I'm going to make it go a little bit further.
Begins to rock. He shuffles left.
And you'll notice that there's some animation. The words are highlighted as the different narration comes up. I can make it bigger right here. I can, of course, stop it, and then I could even have it not read along. I would have just the animation to it and just the story. I could read the book, and this is a great introduction to e-readers for young kids. If we click here to the next page, we can have it read along, and of course it would read along and highlight each word, and then even the words in yellow have a definition, and we can actually listen.
Continents, the largest land masses on Earth.
And what's great is this is a great modeling of fluency, and it's also a great way to really introduce e-readers. You, of course, can make this larger, and you can have it not read along and have your class read those as well. But I love the fact that it has the feature where you can go directly to the lesson plan, and you have an entire lesson plan for that. That would be very helpful for those elementary teachers when it's way too hot outside, or way too wet outside, or even way too cold outside. These are great to be able to fill in some extra learning time without them actually getting to realize that. Now we're going to go back to the Educator. I just want to point out a few more things. There's the Cincinnati Inventors database here. Overdrive for kids. That also, if you have, you can download and not print out, but download a lot of material here and then project that on your smartboard or your projector. And then there's LinkedIn Learning. There are some definitely great tutorials that would help any educator. Now, I am going to go back one more before I say goodbye for today, and I'm going to come back to the main page and research databases. If you click research databases, there's an education section, and then there's a homework help section as well. And there's a whole bunch of them here that is very, very helpful and useful to all of you educators out there. And all you need to have is our library card. All right. I'm going to click out, and we're going to call it a day. All right, educators, I know you have a lot to do between now and the start of school, but go ahead and make sure that you sign up for that library card, the Educator card, and maybe get a teacher collection even delivered to your very own school. I'll see you next time for another Lunch and Learn. Bye-bye.